All right, good morning, everybody. Hope you're having yourselves a fantastic start to the AM here. Happy Thursday, right? Week's kind of going by very quickly. Oh, weird. Apologies. Week's going by very quickly here. Nothing, hopefully, too nefarious in my downloads folder. But yeah, hope you guys are ready for what should be a relatively interesting trading day here. And hopefully, right, we can take advantage of whatever momentum is now available to us. Been a relatively good trading week here so far, right? Tuesday, Wednesday, not bad trading days here as of yet. And hopefully, right, today we get another strong indication of being able to take advantage of sort of some of the conditions that we've seen here recently. Really the thing that I was very proud of yesterday, if I'm going to use that adjective, was just how much more controlled the day was, right? How calm it was, how deliberate I was being, right? And how making things more specific allowed me to focus more on basically, yeah, the technical elements of trading, right? And kind of helped me refine some of the price action that I was looking at. And I think that that was very beneficial. Not that yesterday was like the biggest trading day of the year or anything along those lines, but it just felt, very calm, collected. Like it didn't feel like it was any strain on my mental capital, nothing along those lines. And for me, that is very, very important. I think, once those mental capital reserves drain, you're just in rough shape, right? You're going to start to make decisions that are no longer optimal. You're going to start to make decisions that kind of force you to go all in or all out on a position. And you just start to go from being a trader who is willing to execute their edge to a trader who is basically willing to gamble away everything on a singular outcome or decision. And I think the more that we protect our mental capital reserves from draining, the easier it is for us to be good losers, right? For it is easier for us to then to close our trades without being greedy. And it's certainly easier for us to then sit and wait for opportunities instead of, relentlessly chasing something that isn't there. And I've had a lot of fun, making that subtle transition in finding, okay, where maybe are my gaps within that context, right, that I need to fix, and where are the strengths that I have, right, that I can kind of double down on and continue to focus. Talked a little bit earlier this week about how I think some of my weaknesses related to this trading technique is that I sometimes still can get like a little bit emotionally attached to trades and allow them to stop me out at my stop loss instead of just cutting them when I know that they're wrong and saving myself that money. And so putting this greater emphasis on defining, again, we're going back here to the start, but to defining what we expect price action to behave like, what that strong reaction looks like, what that weak reaction looks like, and turning that into something certainly makes it easier, right, for us to have a little bit of trust in our ability to make decisions, right? And then again, focus fundamentally on keeping price action kind of in front of us, right? Or having that margin of error in front of us so we can do well. So focusing tremendously, right, on, okay, is this a pullback scenario? Is this a fake out scenario? Is this a aggressive entry scenario? What would that look like for all three? What would it look like post entry? What would it look like around resistance? And how can I use that information to maximize my P&L? Has made it easier, right, for me to protect myself from the worst versions of this evolution, right? So by being more specific, I should say, I don't know how that came out that way, but by being more specific, right, I can then focus on cutting trades early that don't meet my conditions, and I can remove that emotional attachment to those ideas because I don't feel like I'm missing some sort of element of information, right? I have what I believe to be the info that I need. And so I can make that reaction binary, right? Either it gives me that reaction or it doesn't, or ideally gives me the reaction that would be to the downside. And then I can get out of that position without ever developing that hopium while I'm searching for some sort of new information. I think if we think about our trading from like that hopium perspective, right? Or what happens, we think our losers are going to turn around and be winning traders or winning trades. It's because we're waiting for some sort of element of information that tells us that we're correct. And because we're not specific over what that information is, there's that hope that, we're going to see this like magical nugget or magical bit of info that's then going to turn our trade around. And I think that's where that hopium comes from, or why it's easy for us to trust that our winning traders or losing trades are going to be winning trades, or that they're going to turn around. And I think the more specific we can be, the more we can fight back against that feeling, and then make it easier, right, for us to cut those losing trades before they become max losses, and take those wins when they're optimal to do so. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. It's kind of what this transition has been about for me. And hopefully we can keep kind of building up off of this skill set, just getting a little bit better every single day, and seeing how those differences translate to PNL. All right, so today's Thursday, right? Week is going by pretty weirdly. The jobless claims come out here this morning. We got crude oil and nat gas. So nat gas at 10, crude at 11. It's a little bit different, but certainly looks like we should have some interesting PA here today. So yeah, we'll start off with ES here. What's the count? Where are things going? Yeah, exactly. What does that tell us? What makes you say 2 out of 3 without volume, Eric? So what are your 3 elements? Yeah, so it's green candle, right? Yesterday, green candle. That candle on decreasing volume, right? And then it's a gap down. So only one of the elements are telling us bullish strength. So 1 out of 3 here to the upside. So we could definitely target a 6140, and then beyond. All right, 61, 60, yada, yada, yada. And then to the downside here, right? Where would be our initial target? Yeah, 6,100, I would say, right? So pre-market low, and then go from there. It's just like a nice round number, right? So why not start there instead of going? Because we're anticipating certainly is going to behave like an area of support here. We've seen that act as support, right? Based on the pre-market low. Cool. And then we can kind of see how it goes from there. Does that make sense in general? All right, sweet. So NQ, what's the count here? So yeah, same story, right? Very same story. Maybe a little bit of a weaker pre-market price action, right? Where it's implying more consolidation hanging out in the middle of the range. Whereas ES, right, is maybe a little bit higher up or upper third. That would say would be the only difference here, right? In my opinion. But otherwise, very, very similar narrative. So again, 1 for 3 here. And we're looking for a breakout towards highs. So 22.1. And then to the downside, right, we'd be targeting yesterday's low now instead of pre-market low. And the difference, right, is we're under 900, whereas ES, right, is still 12 points above that 100, right? So we're already below that psych level here on NQ. We're above that psych level here on ES. Does that make sense? Why I'm switching from one to the other? Okay. And we'll see how it goes. If the candle's implying in the middle of yesterday's range, and yesterday's range was very low volume, so what's it tell us, guys, right? If it's a low volume day yesterday and we're opening up in the implied of yesterday's range, what does that tell us? What's the most likely outcome here today? Yeah, consolidation, right? All right. CL, how do we feel about yesterday's price action? What did it tell us? Day of what yesterday? Yeah, right. Inside bar consolidation and consolidation post trending breakdown, right? So I would still say I have a bearish bias here, and we're looking for a breakdown of some element of magnitude through that. 75 bucks would be the starting point here. I'm not sure if I have a very easy bull case. So I don't know if too much needs to change here, but bearish trend here to the downside. Inside bar here consolidating. Yeah, we need to get a breakdown here under that 75 towards 72, 73. If it's going to be a bull case, I need to see that bull case get established at some point today before I'm willing to really do anything different. All right. Apple inside bar yesterday. So we're looking for a bottom up gap fill pretty much. So someone was asking me the other day or mentioned, hey, Apple's on the 200 EMA. Is this similar to your Microsoft thesis? And I would say it's not similar to the Microsoft thesis that I had here. Not because it's not the same thing, but Microsoft has been a little bit more of a leader here where Apple's been kind of lagging behind just a little bit more. So, you know, as Microsoft has now been climbing last, say, 5-6 days, Apple hasn't been doing that, right? It's kind of been selling off, or it's been showing us kind of relative still momentum here to the downside. So it's not been acting as a market leader here. And so I'd be less optimistic about anticipating this to get as much fall through. Now, I still think it probably bounces here, but and it's going to be famous last words, but I would think that the next 10% move probably is harder than the next 10% move in Microsoft, if that makes sense. Okay, Tesla, what's the count? Yeah, inside bar, right? So consolidation. And if we're looking at this as a narrative perspective here so far today, is the narrative pretty consistent across the board, or are we getting trending price action everywhere except a few random names? I would say it's mostly consolidation so far, right? We were opening up in the implied middle on the indexes, right? Apple inside bar, Tesla inside bar. So I'd say our indexes and our leading names that we've looked at here so far mostly behaving consistently. Okay, Microsoft, first element of an exception. All right, 2 out of 3 here to the upside with volume. So trending breakout here going into earnings in a couple days. That's gonna be pretty interesting. There we go. So it's on Wednesday next week. So we're looking for a breakout here over 447. Or bounce off of like 440. And then based on where the implied open is here, right, we're looking probably more likely as this being like a dip buy trade, right, than a breakout trade. And because this has got so much of a range in either direction, again, right, maybe this is setting up a bit more like consolidation. Kind of reminds me maybe a bit more of ES than it does of NQ. But we're opening up in the bottom of the top third, we'll call it. Certainly means that there's a lot of space before this thing goes back to trending. So again, right, another indication here of possible consolidation. All right, Amazon. Much easier for us to get a breakout here today, right? And so we're looking for a 235 breakout here or a bounce off of 231. And 231 is the area of support, as that's the approximate previous high of day, right? So we're going to see a pullback, right? Expect to see a pullback into that area, give or take, and then go. Okay. AMD, green candle, increasing volume, gap down, weak green candle. So we call this a weak 2 out of 3 here to the upside with volume. And we're looking, right, for now a breakout over 126 or, right, a high vol breakout here under 120. And the reason why, right, weak candle shape, right? And then gapping down already under yesterday's low of day. So we're invalidating a lot of that momentum, right? That got established yesterday. So if that wasn't enough to sustain that pre-market move, let's see if this thing can break down and give you that further separation. Okay. NVIDIA, right? 2 out of 3 here to the upside with volume. Big gap down, right? So you probably want to see this find support inside the gap / BB reversal, right? And then to the downside here, maybe this could be a bottom or a gap fill, right? Down towards those lows. So again, right, we can invalidate yesterday's price action by making a new lower low or by seeing a larger volume standard than what we saw the previous day. If we can get both of those pieces of information to sync up, that gives it pretty easy narrative here. And gaps love to get filled, right? So if we can see that all sync up and come together, we should have an opportunity. Okay, Meta opening up in what appears to be the implied middle here. First attempt to break out of that wedge yesterday, could not do so. Higher high, higher low. So I might want to try again here. It'd have to be a 634 pop. Again, this is a 3 for 3, but it's kind of like a pathetic bullshit 3 for 3. Sorry to curse. That came out super aggressive. So we're going to look for a 634 breakout. And then to the downside here, right, I'm going to say NA until I get that wedge breakdown, which is pretty far away. We're just looking to see if we can get a good amount of consistency on a pop. And then let's see if we can go from there. Okay, Netflix. Big sell-off there post-earnings. Makes sense. And we're looking at a baby gap down here. Would we expect to see bigger volume today than what we saw yesterday? Or would that be a red flag, for lack of a better term? Any thoughts? I'll just say 2.5 out of 3. So what would we expect from a volume profile here today? Yeah, we're definitely expecting less volume, right? So yesterday, outlier, crazy, wild scenario, right, from a volume perspective. And if we look at how the volume profile reacts around earnings, that tends to be the crescendo, right, on a month-to-month, or sorry, quarter-to-quarter basis. So we'd expect to be very hard for us to get an increasing volume standard here. So that's not going to be our ultimate judge of momentum. All right. Google, a little fake out lower there, right? A little bit of a fakey wakey. And then, weird today. And then we're looking for a breakout here above 202.50-ish. Not great. Fake out higher, fake out lower, right? Probably tells me indecision. And I'm going to say fake outs in both directions. Cool. And then to the upside here, we want to invalidate that wick. So 202.50. And then to the downside here, right, a breakdown under like 197.50. And then VIX hanging out 15 spot 13. So not exactly a expectation of tremendous volatility. And we'll see, right? We'll see if we get a very similar type of market environment to what we got yesterday, right? Yesterday, very, very slow open. Lots of kind of sticky, fakey, annoying type of price action right before moves happened. And that's very characteristic, right, of very low volume conditions. So we'll see if we can get a strong element of momentum here at some point today. And then hopefully, right, we do. So that's really what I'm cheering for. If I'm like crossing my fingers and trying to find a 4-leaf clover, I'm looking for a sign of momentum here today, a good amount of aggression. And if I don't see that, it's going to be very hard for me to want to be like going counter what the market mood is, right? I want to be like a market conditions chameleon where I'm adapting my personality, my colors, right? My enthusiasm based on how crazy the market is giving me, right? So the market's very volatile. It's giving me lots of action. I want to be matching that aggression with my energy. If the market is being calm and cool and chill, I also want to be matching towards that, right? And not trying to be too aggressive when things aren't moving. And then, right, the upside, when it's a volatile market, I don't want to be too conservative when it pays to be aggressive. So right now, default is looking for probably a more conservative reaction. And then we'll see if we can get a good level of enthusiasm to tell me, hey, I've got it proven otherwise. So markets just opened here. Give me a minute, guys. I'm going to go just make a quick cup of coffee, spend a minute or two here visualizing a successful trading day. And then we'll set ourselves up for what should hopefully be a strong trading session. So I'll be back at it again in a minute or two, and we'll chat then. All right, everybody. So let's get ready, right? Let's see how the market wants to behave and what it wants to give us here today. But I'm excited. I think we should have at least an opportunity or two to have some joy. But let's see how the volume shapes up, where it comes together. Nothing too crazy. Oh, fuck. Sorry, team, I was muted there. Nothing too crazy so far. Still getting used to unmuting in OBS and unmuting in Discord. So I'm not as tech savvy as I like to pretend I am. I've been thinking a little bit about the evolution here, right, that might take place in my trade. I've been thinking about this a little bit. And the way that I've been thinking, and this is where I would just be testing. I'm not ready to take any decisions here yet. But treating or defining confirmation, like I think the evolution would be defining confirmation as a price action reaction more so than using or waiting for candlesticks and volume. So what I mean by that, right, on like this opening range attempt to fake out, right, at what point do you know that the fake out is correct, right? Or at what point do you know that it's going to continue breaking down? And then trading off of that information instead of waiting then for the further separation. That I think would be the next evolution. I've just been thinking out loud. That's been what's been playing around in my head. So far, so slow. Right, so just going back to what I just said, right now, instead of waiting for volume to be a confirmation standard on NQ, right, you watch, okay, is this giving me the correct reaction here if it makes a new higher high? Is it not giving me the correct reaction? And then trading that opportunity instead of waiting then for the next move, right? So the concept here is if I could change the timing of where confirmation occurs, I should be able to jump into moves earlier, right, as a starting point, but I should also be able to then have tighter risk for when I jump into those moves. So again, I'm thinking about, okay, how can I potentially find a pattern or optimize a pattern that keeps my win rate similar or better, but gives me more upside while capping my downside. So it's like, how can I evolve the steps, right, that we're focusing on? How can I use all those techniques to create a new idea, a new flashpoint, right, and then evolve? So I think when I think about my trading consistently here, it is a constant evolution and a constant improvement based on what the market is giving you, and playing that evolution game, and like I think obsessing over that and that, ooh, how can I get better game, over the, ooh, how can I improve my P&L, and making all those decisions like P&L based. I think obsessing over this like daily, what's the new pattern, what's the new technique, what's the new skill that I can learn, makes the P&L improvement inevitable. And so I like that. I think that's more fun when I think about what yeah, like where I feel the most satisfaction with trading, it generally tends to be in those types of contexts, right? It's taking that like skill leap and seeing things improve, seeing things get better, and then, right, making money as like a delayed gratification to those improvements. So far, no action here yet. So what we're looking for here. Anyone? Yeah, we need to see outlier volume and a hold above previous high of day. Again, so far not a great reaction here. Kind of looks a bit like a fake out, right? So if I could get a second fake out above that 916, I would definitely be potentially interested here in a possible entry. So we need to see a second failed break above high of day, right? And then a move back down under that price action. Okay, so, right, watching here carefully for a possible short. And we're looking for a fake out above that 915.25 and then a pullback back under it and then go. Right, so if we've seen bulls fail here, we're looking for them to fail again and then to ride that wave down on the failure, right? And then stop loss would be high of whatever this candle is. So again, right, we want it to see it go up above first, then back down under, and then find support, right, off of that area. So this would be more the fake out thesis, right? Still an inside bar here, so nothing's happened of significance. I mean, you just don't want it to be invalidating your fake out, right? So what would strong volume look like? Well, if it was like bigger than what we saw, right, at any point here today, or like increasing outlier or something like that, right? Some sort of indication that it's not impressive. So I wouldn't say that that's particularly a fake out, right? Because it closed above or at our yellow line. So I would say that that is dead for now. Right? Because if it was a fake out, it would have closed under and looked similar to what we saw. That kind of made and held a new high, or maybe maybe an inside bar, but it's too hard to tell if it's an inside bar, so I'm not going to strain my eyes here. Here's a good example, double fake out, right? Fake out first, second one, now possibly breaking out. So I would say better on the 3-min. Fake out 1, fake out 2, entry on the pullback back under be 86. You know, probably a little bit too late on this here now, but that would be what I'd be looking for. So far, so chill. Maybe a little bit. I mean, I feel really low energy relative to Tuesday. But so far, market's feeling a little bit like deja vu to yesterday's price action, where it's pretty slow for a while there. And then finally it makes its move, right? So far, so chill here, team. So far, so chill. Sure. I mean, I get your logic. Looks fine. But yeah, I'm not going to change my approach here and just start looking at the one. Okay, so let's watch CL here again. Again, needs to clear over yellow, then come back down under. Let's start to set this up. Sometimes it might take a few candles, right, or a few attempts to get up and over and show us that fake out. That's fine. Right, the longer it takes for bulls to be able to make a move above, easier it is for them to be exhausted, right, and for us to get that quick reversal move. So if that's the case, no problem. Right, it's one failed move, two failed move, three failed moves here to the upside. So we're looking for a continuation of that failure and then ideally, right, some separation. There's that maybe possible fake out. Now it needs to get back under, right, this 89. Right now it's acting as support. That was a big algo order. So I would say probably not a very indicative sign, right, of bears being particularly strong. We saw a huge amount of volume breakout, and it's holding above, right, that fake out zone. So second biggest volume bar of the day. I don't think I could call that a fake out scenario. Okay, we're back in business on NQ. Right, so here's your new high of day. Right, lowest volume bar of the day, a failed breakout above that 918 should set me back up for a move lower. So ES giving me that scenario as well. Right, here's your fake out now above, and it's got a little bit of separation. Stop would have to be 119. It's pretty tight risk. Okay, see if it fails here. Okay, so I'm starting to look for an entry short here. But again, I'm trying to buy on the uptick, right? Not on the downtick. I can't seem to get a fill at that 118.25. Okay, there we go. So I am in 118.25, 8 contracts, stop loss 1 point away. Okay, it's got to break down here. Got to see it hold under that fake out. There we go. Come on. Fake out higher high, fake out lower low. Yes, 8 contracts. That's what it says here. Right? 8 cons. Yeah, I always say my position here, right? So it's there for you to see. Like, I'm not hiding what I'm doing, right? And I also posted in the Discord where you can see it under the setup alerts. So you can find that information based on what I'm sharing. I would say that this isn't probably behaving the way that I want so far, right? Little bit of a slower reaction post-entry. So it's got to start moving here pretty quick. Otherwise, I have to get out of this. And I'm starting to feel that maybe have to get out of this a little bit more. See if they can flush through these lows. Cool, there we go. All right, so I'm out of this. I've closed this trade. I'm out of this at 116.50. And I'm out of this because we got market data dropping in a couple minutes. So I'm just going to get out, take the 500 bucks and reset. And that's more than a 2-hour move, right? So I'm happy with that. But pretty easy. I'm going to say easy. But a pretty nice little trade there, right? Didn't give me a ton of oomph immediately. But take the small win. Take the 495.11. And we'll see if we can keep going. Let's go. No, I've got 8 contracts, guys. Again, right? My position sizing is always shared on my screen and inside the setup alerts. Right? So I'm not trading one contract pretty much ever. I had 1 point of risk. I can trade much more than that. So again, good example of that little fake out technique, right? We had 1 point of risk. It's awesome, right? So that's awesome. Now I'm going to wait for that market data to, or that, market data, that economic indicator to drop. Oh, wait, what? Thought we had something at 10. Oh, interesting. Why did I think we had something at 10? But yeah, good start here. Good start. And then now maybe starting to look for a move here to the downside. Nice work, Kyle. Not a huge amount of range, but targeting that low of 818. So far, consolidation. If this goes inside bar, this might be a little inside bar fake out type trade. Okay, so possible little inside bar fake out scenario, right? Okay, don't feel bad about my close. It's fine. Not perfect, but it was fine. Yeah, with Trump speaking, who knows what that's going to mean. So again, happy with my decision. Got to 2R quickly. Not a huge amount of reason to trust. And a good decision. I think dealing with that pullback back towards entry price would have been exhausting. But yeah, I'll take a win to start the day. It's back-to-back days. God bless Trump's market. Okay, so high volume inside bar, right? So this would definitely be a fake out scenario. See it get stuffed at like 905-ish maybe. I know, I mean, I've been saying for a long time, eventually the variance will go back in our favor. Eventually. So maybe that's it. Okay, so we're looking for a little fakey-wakey. I don't know why I keep saying that. Speaking of my nieces and nephews yesterday, maybe that's it. A fake out over 905. And then if it gets stuffed here, right, that would then be my potential entry opportunity. Again, I'm not sure if I can confidently say that that's a fake out. So again, let's see a little bit more of an obvious reaction here. Oh, maybe it is by that tick. That's a tough one to see. So if this thing then breaks down, right, we can still look for this scenario essentially. You don't really want to see this thing break down under 79.25, right, and then pull back significantly above. A little baby pullback, no worries. A big one would be catastrophic. So far hasn't. There it goes. Okay. So now you want to see a continuous flush here or continuation lower. And ideally this thing closing on a big volume profile. A good day here so far, team. Good day. So now, right, we'd expect this candle to close under this green line approximately. And ideally, right, with an increasing outlier volume. Now, shame about that little fake out miss. That's fine. But if the trade is strong, I'll give you more than one chance to enter, so no big deal. And that's a fine enough reaction. So now, right, we got to be a little bit cautious and see this thing break down pretty much immediately. Almost an instant fake out here lower and now pulling back. So we want to be just a tad cautious. Right, let's see it find support here to the downside before breaking down. Didn't find it initially, right? It found resistance at that 70. But okay, if this thing does break, I know my stop loss is going to be 82-ish. So I can get that set up right away. That's already what I'm looking at. And now let's see if that previous low can act as support. So far, it's not, right? So far, it made a pretty quick move through. but then couldn't find that oomph and then bounced all the way back, right? So I don't think this is ready for me for an entry. We have like a little bit of a liquidity battle going on here. Okay, so now you'd be looking at 886. And again, still no reason to have entered this position yet. But we gotta see that resistance right showing up here at some point. Doesn't seem like it wants to. I'd say no for now, right? I would say no for now. So what I'm trying to focus on here, right, is making sure that my entry timing is adequate. Maybe I still have the right thesis, right? But there's no way in hell my entry timing would have been good here. I would have been stopped out on every possible pullback so far. And if I do not, right? If I do not get an entry, does not bother me, right? I don't need to do anything else here today. So maybe low vol fake out entry here around that 889. I'd be interested in that, right? Where short-term bulls failed. Then you have that insurance, right, for a breakdown. The other difference here with this candle so far is that it has been made a quick higher high first and then now is breaking down. So maybe we're back in business here. Remember back to this one, right? It made a lower low first and then broke down. I can't tell if it's, yeah, it made a little fake out again. Interesting. Not quite under low of day here. So I don't think I can play that thesis yet. So this still looks like maybe like it's a bit of consolidation. Not easy here yet so far today. Interesting. CL setting up here possibly again. Stop loss would be 76. Fake out 1, fake out 2. It's okay. Failed breakout right off the psychological level. It's very interesting. Be 9 cents away. Targeting low of day. Now I hate it going into economic news here in 22 minutes. Probably the only reason why I'd be able to talk myself out of this. But for now, don't need to do anything crazy. And this just looks like a pretty gross PA here so far. Feel empty inside. Only have one trade here today. What the heck? This isn't normal anymore. Yeah, yesterday was pretty relaxing too. If I make 500 bucks and I can just chill and sit on hands, I won't complain. if we were to describe the themes that we had pre-market, right, we would say maybe signs of exhaustion, right, and then consolidation, and then here's what we would need to see for bullish price action, here's what we need to see for bearish price action. Which of those, like, say, one of four themes are we probably most experiencing here today? Which variant or which version of price action would we say? Any thoughts, team, on what price action is telling us compared to what we expected pre-market? So did we nail our analysis, or are we surprised by this? And I don't mean this as a victory lap, but did we see it correctly? Yeah, not surprised, right? So if we're not surprised by this, right, and we're like, we kind of had this planned out, right? Think about how much more calm you feel now that you see the consolidation, right? On those days where you expect a huge trend day, or you're positioned for a huge trend day and then it doesn't happen and price action gets stuck, right? You start looking for big moves that aren't there. But if you're anticipating that, hey, today might be a day of consolidation, I'm probably not going to get a tremendous amount of clean price action, you can kind of sit there without putting judgment on yourself, and you maintain a lot more mental capital, right? And so having one contract or one trade here with good sizing with 1 point of risk. We got a little move. Okay, we missed out. Oh no, we could have gone all the way down to 112. That would be cool, but no reason to indicate that we should have. Or that there was any like trend or change in conditions. So we're sitting here on hands, kind of being relaxed, right? We don't feel stressed out. We don't feel whatever. It's because we were prepared for this occurring. And so we've already decided, hey, this could be an opportunity, or this could be what happens. Here's what happens would look like. And now I can kind of sit out, relax, chill, and not attach really any like mental capital while price action figures out what it wants to do next. So I made a pretty good decision here today. And that was before I even placed a trade. So if I'm thinking about how can I judge myself based off of my process, not my P&L, right? Today's a huge check mark in the process day because A, I made it very easy for myself to be green, but I've also made it very easy for myself to maintain my basically, I'll call it mental capital, right? I think that's probably the right way. My psyche, right? Whatever you want to call it. And so again, right? If I'm trying to optimize for remaining in control, being the one who knocks, right? For doing all those things, I have accomplished that very well here today. And I've not done anything stupid because of that. And so I should be proud of myself regardless of the win, right? This would be a very positive outcome day for 99% of traders. And I just have not allowed myself to make any super obvious mistakes. Haven't allowed myself to see something that isn't there. It all just starts with preparation. And then if we do this enough, right, we set our expectations appropriately, we train our eye to define what we'd expect to see and what we wouldn't expect to see, then all of a sudden, right, we've got a pretty powerful skill set that we can avoid our obvious mistakes, double down on our strengths, and then make a little bit of money in between. Today's one of those in-between days, right, where you make a little bit of money, you don't have to make a lot of decisions, you just set yourself up for maybe success down the road. Really, price action is doing bupkis. I don't care for it, to be honest with you, Jay. I don't see where it adds extra value here to my trading. In my opinion, I'd prefer to focus on price and volume and make my own interpretations of it than study a indicator's interpretation of price and volume. I don't think that it gives me a greater edge than just trading or doing my own analysis. In general, I don't really rely on indicators. It's just not how I was taught to trade. In general, right, when it comes to indicators and it comes to those tools, is absolutely everything works. Absolutely anything can work. Like MACD cross could be a good signal. A change in the histogram, right, could be a good signal. It could be whatever. What really is most important is that you create a reliable process on how you can identify a stop loss, how you can identify a profit target, and how you can identify if price action is strong or not. You know, everything works sometimes, nothing works all the time. So if you can define and identify how often that sometimes occurs and what your expected win rate is with that, then you can set up all the other variables around that sometimes to make that edge work for you, right? So if you have something that works, say coin flip odds, right? 50-50 win rate, EMA cross, MACD cross, and I'm just guessing what these are. I don't know. If that happens 50% of the time, but you filter out all those trades that don't give you 1 to 3 risk reward, then you're gonna make money on that edge because you're profitable, right? Your average win is worth 3 times more than your average loss, not outlier volume. So it needs to be always increasing outlier volume if you're going to play a rejection like that, Eric. So if you're filtering out trades, right, where you have better than 50-50 odds, so you get paid more than $1 for every dollar that you risk, and you have an expectation of that occurring, any setup trigger can make you happy. So why not focus on managing those variables and basically keeping the deck stacked in your favor. And then the setup trigger that you choose to trade can be essentially anything you want. Right, what we want to think about here, Eric, just to go back to your point, right? If we're identifying that today is so far a day of consolidation, and then we see an increasing but kind of weak candle bar, that's not telling us anything different than the consolidation that we had seen, right? So our base expectation there would be that price action is going to behave the same way it always has until we get a proven otherwise. And so that wouldn't be an adequate proven otherwise, because it's not different than from the personality we've seen from NQ here so far today, right? Doesn't tell me anything other than, okay, it's increasing volume, but it's not increasing relative to the consolidation that I've seen effectively since 9:33 this morning, right? The close at 9:33 was 889. Right now we're at 893, right? So we're 4 points higher than what the close of the opening 3-minute candle was. So there's nothing that has told me anything different than what we've seen, if that makes sense, right? So I want to see different before I assume that I'm going to get a different type of move. So increasing volume is binary, right? Is it larger than the previous bar? Outlier is where you can start to be a little bit more creative with your definition, right? So technically outlier is anything larger than the moving average, right? If you're above average, you're an outlier. If you're below average, get some help, right? So that's a crude way of describing it. But yeah, so that would be the starting point. And then you can look at contextual clues, right? If I see volume that's like this 1009 standard for 10 candles, then something that maybe looks like that 954, where it is increasing but not maybe outlier, would be outlier relative to the candles before it, right? Now, I would prefer make it easier for yourself by keeping that definition consistent. So above the white line, right? And that's generally how I try to view my setup. So it should be the same thing. You've seen this for now, I don't know, 45 days or whatever. So it's pretty rare that I will look for examples where in non-trending markets, right, I'm getting non-outlier volume. But if you've gotten range and you've gotten separation and price action is moving in one direction or the other, you want increasing, outlier, strong candle shape. Those are kind of the three things. The more narratives that are syncing up and telling you the same story, easier it is to trust that that price action is going to be consistent and give you some follow through. So potentially a setup here on NQ. Problem I have with this is that we're so close to a high of day, right? So I know that this 1850 area approximately is going to act as resistance, whether I like it or not, or I have an expectation that it should act as resistance. Well, that was what that first trade of the day was, right? That double fake out entry is essentially a failed breakout, right? Mean reversion consolidation trade. right? That's essentially what that is. Right? We entered on a confirmation of a failed break higher, a failed break of high of day, right? So that's trading the consolidation range, assuming price action is going to go back to where it has been until we get a proven otherwise. So setup, right? Confirmation of that proven otherwise, then becomes the second fake out up and over. Right, that can't hold, and you look for that move then. And best case scenario, right, in that trade is it goes then from like a green to red reversal and you get that trend day. Worst case scenario, right, is okay, you get a little move back down towards the mean and you get stopped out for 2 points or 3 points or whatever it is, like happened here today. But look, no matter how hard we try, we're not going to always have an edge in all market conditions, right? Or in all market environments. So, yeah, consolidation days, you can make a bit of money trying to do something. But you can also lose a ton of money on these types of days because you'll go long and then you'll get stopped out. And then when you think your time to go short, you're going to go short and you're going to get stopped out. And you're going to keep chasing price action that isn't moving in ways that ever hit your profit targets. And so you just take stop out, stop out, stop out, stop out, stop out, stop out, stop out. And then you're booking a flight to Turkey because you got no hair left. So we're looking for scenarios where we don't have to deal with that stress in general. Right? And we can avoid some of those like easy days where nothing moves except drifts towards your kind of like stop outs, right? It's easier to get chopped out than it is to make money in consolidation days. And it's very easy to fall for false signals when price action just is not cooperating. So, okay, 1 for 1 on the day, $500. If I don't do anything else here today, it's awesome, right? It's going to be, I don't know, 11 out of 12 green days on the year. That's an awesome percentage. And that compounds a lot more than me trying to force another trade here today and doing something crazy, right? And yeah, if I'm looking at any of the signals here that I've seen in the last little bit, I mean, none of them have been good. I mean, the only thing I could have maybe, this would be probably an unrealistic expectation, but I could have maybe held on to this fake out trade, right? As that high of day has not been tested or touched since. But I don't know if I needed to have done that. Well, 8 contract earned that amount for the move that we had, right? So with 8 contracts, you're moving $50, or one contract moves $50 a point. I got a little bit more than a point on that move. All right, so I got like a point and a half-ish. Okay, so that's nat gas, right? We've got crude oil inventories at 11 on CL. Truth be told, team, I might be thinking about an early day here again. Nothing giving me much of a huge expectation. So I might just be happy to take the little win, reset, move on. Try again tomorrow. Like I said, right? It's been a pretty good day here. We'll give it a bit more time. It's only 10:30. But it does feel shockingly slow so far. Sounds good, Mike. Well, have yourself a great day, man. Okay, so again, right, maybe have a possible opportunity here for a breakout. Needs to hold and sustain above high a day. One sec here, team, getting a call. Hello? All right, sorry about that. So what does this look like now, right? Potentially a bit of a fake out. Well, maybe not. Okay, closed right at resistance. Okay. Question is, where's the appropriate profit target here? Okay, I'll do the 5 min. That makes a little bit more sense. Okay, so watching NQ here to the upside. Stop loss would be 911.50 for now. But we don't have a reason to jump in yet, right? We haven't seen that 924.25 act as an area of support. So we need to see that occur, right, before we're able to confidently enter this position. So now we're looking for a gentle pullback into that area. So let's see. $10 should also be in play if we cannot get an entry here, right? Okay, still watching. Okay, still watching, still watching. Okay, I'm going to be focusing here on the 10 min time frame. Okay, 10 seconds to go. Possibly do this on the 5. 9-11-50. 13 points of risk. That's not bad. Could not get a fill. Tried to get a 922. Didn't happen. So I'm going to try again here. Cancel my order. $922 would allow me to buy 2 contracts, right? Okay, too fast. Better. Okay, so back to watching here. Come on, give me a nice little pullback. Kind of feels like maybe this will want to fake out a little bit. Again, I'm just watching the price action here, right? Not watching anything else. Have my order window all set up as is, but I'm not quite ready to pull the trigger here yet. Haven't seen a particularly strong reaction to price action. I think if I'm going to be looking at anything as an entry, it would be around this 1825. And maybe this will be a little like inside bar fake out type scenario. All right, so a little fake out here under that like 17. I'd be very, very interested in that. So let's see. If I can get that 117 entry, right, that would be 4 contracts. Which would be great. So does everyone understand what my plan is here? Everyone get what I'm waiting for, what I'm looking for? And what my position sizing is going to be, what my stop loss is going to be? All right, so I'm looking for a fake out under this inside bar low, and then a pullback back up above it. That would be my entry trigger. The stop loss at 911, never forget. And then I'd be looking at between 3 and 4 contracts, depending on how good of a price I can get. If I don't get that correct reaction, right, I will look to trade this on a different time frame or avoid this altogether. Or sorry, 10:47, so still pretty early. And then if I can get this inside bar, I'm going to still call this an inside bar relative to that 10:35 close. So we still haven't broken out through that zone of consolidation. I could still potentially trade this here to the upside. Okay, so now this is breaking out. Has to hold above that high, and ideally, right, on increasing volume. Or we look to play this back on the 10 min here now. It's an entry around 936.25, stop loss around 916. And ideally tighter than that, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Okay, so again, now watching around this 936.25 area. I saw a 50, not a 25. Nice, David. You're in great shape then. Don't let this trade go red at this point, right? That would be what I would be focusing on. Higher high, higher low, decreasing volume. Couldn't close above the confirmation high. I'm going to say that this is not strong yet. I would say that this is not a strong reaction. So I'm going to wait this out. I don't think I like what I'm seeing. Potentially a little bit better on ES. But NQ I don't feel as pessimistic, or sorry, as optimistic about. To feel more pessimistic. Excuse me, my voice got weird there halfway through. I might be uninterested here. We got 10 minutes until crude oil. That'd really be the only other element that I could be interested in. But maybe we get a reaction to that. But so far, I would say pretty lackluster. So no trade here. All right, so still watching here. Still watching. Okay, and we'd be looking at a 122.25 stop on ES. And obviously, right, this would be much smaller sizing than previously. So I'm not playing with 8 contracts this time. Right, I'm maybe looking at 4 or 5, right? I would prefer the 10. The 10 is a stronger candle shape with a better profit target. So I would prefer the 10. Stronger candle, more realistic profit zone. I'm not sure why the 5 would be more appealing. So still kind of struggling here, right? Wouldn't say it's giving me a super enthusiastic reaction here on this pullback, but it's absorbed that volume pretty well. Didn't dip down too much. So it's at least starting to behave a little bit maybe closer to how one would expect strength to show itself. Like that 124 is that previous high. And that's acting pretty nicely. So I'm watching here now, definitely watching. And just for math's sake, I'm going to be looking at a 124.25. So just watching, price action still. Finger is on the trigger, just waiting for the correct move. Correct little pullback, right? The correct sign of enthusiasm. We have data dropping in 3 minutes. And inventories would potentially have some exposure here to ES. But it seems to be going like 2 ticks higher, 2 ticks lower, 2 ticks higher, 2 ticks lower. So if I'm judging, hey, does this look like a strong reaction? I'd probably say no here so far. Nothing burger here so far. I mean, I'm starting to fall asleep a little bit just watching this. Can you say boring? Sounds good, Kyle. Well done, man. Okay, so watch this algo reaction here now. So a little bit unlucky to have not gotten an entry there yet. That's fine. This NQ could possibly be giving me like a failed breakout setup. Here's your failed breakout. Here's fake out one. If I get a fake out above that 941 and then pull back, that would probably be the only thing left that's appealing to me. It's a little bit late in the day to trust that you're going to get a huge amount of continuation here to the upside. Should be more now looking for failed breakouts, right? Turning into like a mean reversion type setup. So watching here, right? It's got to get over that yellow line and then back under. And if it sustains and holds, right, then we know we can possibly target a move up towards like 22. And ES is blasting pretty nice. This is good volume. So not a fake out, right? Closed and held above. So now I'd be looking for a move to the upside here. Stop loss 940. We want to see a gentle pullback here. Not a gentle pull. Now it'd be 936. Can't really pull back too much further than this. So again, right, this might give me another failed breakout attempt. We'd want to see a failed high above 947. Nice, Renner. Congratulations. Okay, so still could be in business. Stop loss have to be now 932. Kind of gross. I'd be looking at two contracts, right, with a 932. So you see it break out above 945. Gentle pullback into that area. It might be tough. Okay, and then a strong candle shape, right? Might be giving me that fake out scenario again here. So I do have a setup in both directions. Not great. Low vol pullback. So I can maybe do this now, right? That's that little fake out. 932, 8 points of risk. Okay, wait it out. Okay, there's fake outs. Now as we can get that pullback back up and over this price, 33.25. Doesn't look like it's behaving that way. No fake out here to the upside. Okay, so still watching. So this would be a mean reversion setup here now. Targeting low of day. Okay, so stop loss would have to be 925.25-ish. Target would be a breakdown under this 917 and then a retest of it. Right, so see that previous area of support. We've seen it bounce off of that price about twice. So let's see that act of support for a downside move. And then I should be in some good shape. Make sense? Yeah, everyone gets it? And no entry here yet, right? That 917, that yellow line has not acted as support here. Could also play it this way here now on the pullback technique. Stop at, what would that be, 48-ish maybe? And that would be a one contract play, right? Okay, now very fast. Oh, that is a fucking dick move. That is so mean. Huh. He held under. Does this make me a crazy person? Maybe. So now looking at 33 here as a possible stop. Again, I'm keeping the sizing light here. Okay, guys, I am in 118. Okay, never mind. Holy shit. Yeah, that's on inventories, right? That's on inventories. Well, that $300 loss sucked. that beats the record of the fastest trade last week. Holy smokes. Alright, let's see if we can get something here. That trade moved so rapid. I couldn't even finish the words in my mouth. That's definitely unique. It's just the crude oil inventories data, right? So just got caught up in an algo backwash there. That was like the Mutombo stuff, right? Like I got the finger wagged in my face after that one. Still no new higher high there. No higher high. That was crazy. Sounds good, David. Enjoy the rest of your day. So setting up here possibly for that pullback entry on an NQ long. Would have to be under 20, right? Would have to be under 20. Okay, so still watching here. Still watching. 15-min time frame. Okay, so I am in average price 118. Sorry, 918. One contract. All right, so let's see if this thing can keep running. Would have liked to have seen probably a more dramatic bounce off of a retest on the opening range there. Huh. Okay, much better. Much, much better. All right, here we go. Beautiful. All right, let's go. Let's see if this thing's got a bit more further follow through. And then we can look to start to build up a position here. So far, so good. Just about making back that loss there on that NQ flush. God, that was ruthless. Okay, so 300 bucks. Let's see if it's got a bit more. Every now and then, it feels like you get hit by a truck. That was one of those trades. And exactly why you want to focus on always having a hard stop loss set, right? Because it saves you in times like that. So even if our objective is to lose less than our max loss, you still want to have that break glass in case of emergency type thing. Come on, keep going, keep going. And basically my entry logic on this, right, was see the reaction between, say, this 918 and then like the opening range high. So if I could just start to see buyers defend that zone, pretty logical spot for us to see a pullback and go. We've seen that happen pretty often. Breakout, pull back towards the opening range, go. Right, breakdown, pull back, range, go. Breakout, pull back into it, go. Right, breakout, pull back into it, go. So it's a setup that happens pretty often. So again, right, just assuming price action is going to behave off of similar patterns like it always has until you get a proven otherwise. Now maybe talking on my ass. See, it's got to get back up and over here. Sounds good, Norm. Enjoy the rest of your day. Okay, I think I got a... Oh, that's a great bounce. It's like those New Jersey drones with how it's darting around here. does make me just a tad apprehensive. So let's see if it's got the juice. $300, anything to complain about though. Okay, see it's got a bit more here. Make a higher high or breakout. Nice combo. Congratulations. It's almost $400 here. Let's see if it's got the juice. Beautiful. See if it's got it. Come on, come on, come on. Might have a chance to pyramid into this. Let's see. So there's two things we have to be worried about, right? In 2 minutes, this candle is going to want to close. We got to be careful about it basically breaking out above, right? And then faking us out. That's the type of pattern we've seen here pretty consistently, right, today. So basically have yourself a plan on how to manage that if that breakout stops behaving the way that you want, right? So although we're hoping that we can get a move up towards 22,000, it's not guaranteed that that's going to happen. And we're up 1R here. So a failed breakout above our zone would certainly tell us that our thesis probably isn't correct. And we don't need to bag hold it, right? Does that make sense? I'm going to take that as a yes. Right, we might get a pretty quick move here. No, I don't like setting my stop losses to get stopped out on a pullback. If I feel like I need to close this trade because I'm worried about closing it, I want to close it as my P&L is increasing, not protecting my entry. That's just going to cost me money, right? So if I don't like the way that it's behaving, then I should just get out. I shouldn't wait to get out at a lower price. I should just get out then and there. Okay, so let's see if it can give us a big breakout here. And if this move happens like a big pop faster than I expect, I'm going to take my win and move on. Right? This is now a little bit over $500. That's a great result. I don't need to bag hold this, right, and turn into a loser. So let's see if this thing can really fly now. Right, it's a strong candle shapes. Got to hold above highs. Come on. Okay, good close. So I might have a chance to pyramid into this. Okay, so average price is now $933. Stop loss is going to be at that $42.75. And I'm looking to see if I can get a big pop up and over. So let's see if it's got it. I don't know if I like that little fake out. Looking good, looking good. Come on. Come on, give me that next leg higher. Otherwise, I'm worried about that 50 getting pulled from underneath me a little bit. It's starting to feel like it's moving lower faster than it's moving higher. Here we go. Come on. Come on. Okay, here it's starting to go, team. Starting to go. Hopefully you're still in this with me. There's 60. Come on. Breakout over. Come on. Come on. All right, guys. I have closed this trade at 962. 962. I am all out. Great little rip, team. Great little rip. So a little bit over 1,100 bucks on that trade. Pretty nice day. So that puts me at 13, 14, 25. Pretty good. 2 for 3 again today, right? Feels pretty awesome. Any questions here, team? Let's go, John. And it looks like that 62 was a good decision to have closed. So awesome. I'll take that 1,300 bucks. Not a bad day at all. Let's go. Nice work. Anyone can beat that? John, you did 600. Alfred, 810. Norm, plus 700. Let's go, Jason, 965. Woo! Here we go, team. Renner, plus 1K. Let's go, guys. Let's go. Love this. Greg, 550. Beautiful. Nice work, Ran. Hey, a few more of those types of trades. You won't be in eval mode for very much longer. So congratulations. Let's go, James. 2,800 bucks. Congratulations. Hell of a day. Let's go. There's the high watermark leader. And a good decision, right, team? A good decision to have closed that trade and not gotten greedy, right? So why did we know, or why did we have clues, right, that maybe this trade was starting to run out of juice? Well, A, it was we talked about, right, it's moving faster lower than it was moving higher, struggling around that 950 area, and then a decreasing volume standard. So we could just start to stack up that, hey, maybe we don't need to get too pot committed to this play. Let's get out of that on that first move that happens quickly. Possible sign of capitulation late in the day. Take your win, close it as your P&L is increasing, and to move on and not have to deal with any drawdown. So awesome, awesome, awesome. Been a great week. Great week, guys. Love it. I mean, look, guys, I will hang around for as long as I think that there are tradable opportunities, right? So if I get a nice tradable op, I will sit around and trade until 4 o'clock if I have to. But yeah, always happy to stick around. I mean, I want to make money too, right? That is priority numero uno. So as much as I like being the source of entertainment for us all, I'm going to go crazy if that's all I'm doing this for. And again, right, we've only had one red day here on the year. That's not bad from 11 trading days, right? Not too shabby at all. So if we just keep focusing on really allowing that variance game to play out, right? Being deliberate with how we're cutting losers. Man, we're going to finish with a much higher proportion, right, of green days. Let's go, Oz. That's awesome. Hey, only being a little bit away. You know, focus on the variables you can't control. That's one nice trade. And then you can build up, right, that proof of concept. Build up your leverage, and you'll be able to replace your 9 to 5. Any questions here, team? Any questions? P&L graph looking nicey so far this year. Literally one red day. That's so nice to see. 55 trades taken, 29 wins, 27 losses. Average day, just a little bit over 6K. It's about 40% more than last year so far. That is strange. Guys, we literally top ticked that exit. All right, final call for questions. Final call for questions here. Anything? All right, well, if no further questions, I'm going to kill the stream here for the day. Same deal like always, right? If you have any questions, hit me up outside of market hours, and I will do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. Otherwise, have yourselves a fantastic session here, team, and we'll talk soon. So have yourselves a great day, and we'll catch up either on our one-on-ones later this afternoon or tomorrow morning. Peace.